Hey everybody, Daniel Ramsey here. Today we've got an amazing speaker. It's a kind of a weird kind of thing. Here's the story. I'm talking to a client about 3 months ago, and he's like, okay, Ramsey, here's what's happening. I had 600 contracts, but only closed 500. That means I lost 100 contracts, which is a lot of commission. And so he and I were just talking, and turns out we have the solution with us today. We have Christian Adams from RepairPricer.com, which is actually kind of an innovative, brand new. They're building an entire industry for realtors like our audience. So I'm excited about that. So we're going to get a chance to kind of hear from him and understand what their business model is and how they serve our industry. Because that's why we're here today. Because we want to make sure that you guys get all of the best tools out there to really, make a lot of money. That's what we're here for. So today we're going to hear, so first, we're interviewing Christian, and what he's doing is, and his company is, he's saving agents deals. He's saving us commission by keeping the deals together. According to the National Association of Realtors, 29% of all deals fall apart because of repairs, and his service fixes that. The other thing is our virtual assistants typically are the ones on the phones pounding and trying to call contractors to get them to show up. And so his solution is just basically going to solve that. We're also giving away a national inspection report, a study, which is the first of its kind. Again, this guy's innovative. Christian, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Daniel, thank you. I appreciate you putting us out here. Yeah, so to people that don't know what we do, we can take any home inspection report in the US and very soon Canada and turn it into a really, really accurate estimate of repairs. Okay. And that happens overnight, 24 hours max, right? The reason we're doing this is exactly what you talked about. I was an agent for 15 years, and we saw when you got that home inspection report back, clients were confused, they were freaked out by it, and there was no objective way to show them the real world impact.
Right.
Report. These things are 40 to 80 pages at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of looked at a way to make it easier for people. And the way that it happened, honestly, I was at a client's house. They were doing a viewing for their wedding photos. Right. Things about to start up. It's like 7 o'clock on a Saturday. My phone goes, which happens in real estate. It's a client. They've got their report back, their home inspection report. They're freaking out. So I run out in the rain like an idiot. I'm outside, standing there, and my buddy comes out to check on me, thinking something's wrong. And he's a builder. And I told him what was going on. I'm scrolling through my phone, trying to look at a PDF and zoom in. And he said, look, can I talk to them? I said, yeah, sure. All right. So I asked my clients. He said, absolutely. He had him calm down in 10 minutes.
Right.
Told him what it was going to cost to fix all this stuff. And that gentleman now is our VP of operations. And it just snowballed from there. I mean, it just became huge. As you saw, that national report is over 50,000 inspections.
So, okay, what you guys do is you'll take a home inspection and turn it into an actual bid for a home buyer or a realtor.
Yeah.
So that they can keep the deal together and or negotiate kind of a reduction in price or a credit for repairs. That's basically what you guys do?
Yeah, it's a lot of things, but yeah, it's a time-saving tool. It's a keep the deal together tool, because yeah, 29% of those transactions that are dropping out are from repairs. That's a lot of lost money right there. And yeah, and then anybody who's done this as an agent, who's had to go and drag contractors through a house,
right?
Go back and meet them there, right? Maybe your contingency period is ending soon. You've got to scramble to get them. You've got to pay to get them there often. Plumbers, electricians, AC guys. Then the seller's upset. You've already had an inspection. Why is somebody coming back?
Right.
The dog's barking, the baby's crying. There's mud on the carpet. And by the time you get to the negotiation table, everybody's already at a point where they won't negotiate.
Right.
So we remove that pain point. You click a button and you get that really accurate repair estimate that you can use to negotiate with.
So how does your system, because obviously you guys are not in California, for instance, I'm in Sacramento, California. Let's say I'm buying a house and it's a Victorian, it's built in the 1890s or something, and I've got an inspection report and I put it into your system.
Yep.
What happens next, and how do you guarantee for me that those bids are accurate?
Yeah. So we, as you said, we built this industry, right? We had to build this from the ground up. So
Right.
first thing is data extraction. Identify the address on the home. Once we have that, I can tell you how many stories it is. I can tell you the square footage. I can get satellite images. We even program drone flyovers in certain cases. Okay, I bring in MLS photos. If you're using Matterport, we bring the dollhouse view. Okay, and we model that house as accurately as we can. Google Street View. I can tell you roof pitch. Once I get the hypotenuse, right? I know the lot depth. I've got your square footage on your roof. So that is the first bit of it. All right, get really accurate data and let's model this house out. Then it gets presented to our pricing experts. So this is human software. This is not just a machine. These are industry experts, insurance appraisers, contractors. So we're in Texas, right? Some contractor who's worked 35 years and he's now in his 60s and he doesn't want to get up on the roof in 110-degree heat. Yep. He can come work for us, do the exact same job, but instead of crawling around in the attic, he's using technology. And we now have home inspectors using FLAR cameras so we can see behind walls. And we just have so much information now that we essentially model the house and they go through it like they normally would and bid it out.
Okay.
All right. The studies we've done as far as how we guarantee accuracy, we blanket gave contractors in 3 markets 50 of our reports each and 50 matching inspection reports. And we asked them, could you do these repairs for this price? All right. 98% of the time they said yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It was better than we expected. We were going for 90% plus. 98% was, I was so proud of the team. That was amazing. Absolutely.
Cool. So, okay, our virtual assistants, and again, I'm talking to John, a client, and one of the primary things is like we do a lot of transaction coordination and listing coordination. Our people are tasked with calling the contractors and having them meet out. That one of their biggest challenges is just getting people to show up. Now, you guys are giving that accurate, 24-hour human plus AI kind of report all in one. How do you suggest the realtor use that in their negotiation, and how would they make money from kind of using your platform?
Yeah, so there's a ton of ways to make money from it. So I'll start with how they use it. Okay, yeah. We want this in the hands of realtors. We do a lot of consumer sales through our site. We can't stop somebody coming there because they want this information. We would rather work with realtors because that realtor knows in their local market what can we negotiate for.
Right.
What seller willing to pay for and what's reasonable, because let's look at the price of the home. Okay, if you've got the home for a crazy price, they're probably not going to negotiate on too much. So we just want to give this information to the agent and let them make an objective decision for their client. That's their job. They know how to do that all day long. They know how to negotiate. They just need the information. So now we've removed 3 days of lag time on getting the info. So if you do want to go to bat for your client and you have an option period, as we call it here, a contingency expiring, you've got time to negotiate.
Yep.
Up against a wall. So yeah, have the agent use it like they normally would once they've got the info back.
Okay. And your third party kind of how does the seller react to your report on their home? Like, are you seeing that third party validation? Because one of the challenges, right, is if I'm representing the buyer and my buddy Joe, who's a contractor and a good old boy, he can just mark up the price, and there's some contention in the deal, right? But you guys remove that because you're a third party independent company.
We're completely unbiased. We won't even let buyers influence our pricing experts. Okay, so we have some rules in place that are in our knowledge base and our support base. If you have extra findings, bring them to us. We'll adjust the report for free. But if you just think that, hey, can you pad that for $2,000? I'm sorry, that takes away all our validity. All right, so sellers, we'll actually talk to sellers for you.
Oh, really?
If they have questions, yeah. I mean, this is what our guys do. So we're like, look, if you have questions, you want to know why it's that much, I'm going to tell you why the building industry in your area has gone nuts, okay? Drywall prices have escalated because of a storm in your area. Whatever it is, we'll explain it to them. And then we also let them know you don't have to pay for everything, okay? But what we find is the reason deals fall apart, all right, is it comes down to a repair that's less than 1% of the home value.
Right.
Insane. You wouldn't not take an offer because of 1% variance normally.
Right.
So why are you canceling? The buyer still wants the house. The seller still wants to sell, right? So that's one thing, is keeping these deals together and moving forward. And then think about that. If you're not spending time doing this,
right,
extra 2 days of marketing or networking or door knocking or prospecting, how much more money do you get back, right?
Right.
8 days a month, maybe? I mean, seriously. And that's where it becomes really interesting, is what is the truth? We haven't done a study on that yet. I promise you, Daniel, I'll do one. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see how much more money we make people. And then also, we are looking for channel partner resellers as well. So if somebody wants to resell us, we have consumers paying over $100 in some scenarios for our product.
Right.
So, and that's not our cost to industry partners.
How do you get the data like in my sub-market, like Sacramento? Yeah. It's a major 200 market, and they're over 1 million people. Contractors are hard to get here. It's hard to get them to show up. I just had a plumber, ignore me for 3 weeks and then show up later and say, oh, I can't do the job. It's hard to get people to show up. So talk to me about how you kind of help in that space, pricing and getting the contractors there.
Yeah. So with our system, we don't actually need the contractors there, but we do survey contractors. Okay. Plumber probably picked up the phone, right?
Yep.
He just didn't show up. So all we need him is to pick up the phone. So we have rolling market surveys that go out every day. Okay. And it's people hitting the phones. I've got this issue. How much would it cost to fix? Can you send me a picture? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Here you go. Here's the picture, because we have it. So we kind of get that. Once we do that, we then build it into our pricing engine, which is really, really smart. Okay. So it thinks like a contractor.
Okay.
You're Billy the plumber, right?
Right.
And to your house, and it's 2.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And you replace the water heater.
Right.
Well, tomorrow you go to a house and it's 250,000. I guarantee you there's a little bit of a price difference. Charged the 250, you know what I mean? And so we know that. We've built a system that learns it. We look at the median house price, median income, price of the actual home, the distance from urban centers. We log the lat and long of where the contractors are. That's really open information. Okay. We've just built this really, really cool system that does a lot of it for us. And then we do try and use experts local to at least that state.
Right.
Do the final review. Okay. But yeah, it does get really accurate, and we're just really, really proud of how they built it. It's taken 2 years.
Okay. 2 years of building it. And you said something about bad realtors, like you prefer to work with good realtors. You're in luck. All of our clients are great people. But tell us, like, why the distinction? Why does that matter for you guys?
Yeah, so what we're seeing in the industry, so the inspection industry, where we've worked with primarily to date to get to this point, is growing. Mm-hmm. Growing at a very fast rate, almost 10% per year. It's crazy. And so what we're seeing now is these kind of low-cost inspections. These guys don't have much experience, and they're just designed to do the minimum viable product, right? Get through the home, and then hopefully the buyer doesn't notice until they've closed. And people just aren't very experienced, right? Now, the kind of agent who would use that inspector, they're probably not going to last long in the business.
Right.
I was in 15 years, you're in 15 years. You know what I mean? There was a reason. We were honest. We were forthright. We made sure the client had the right information. And we also told them when it was time to walk away.
Right.
Okay. And that's important for your future business and building your sphere and saying, you can really trust Daniel. Okay. You can trust Christian because they're going to do the right thing. So with us, because we're giving even more information and we are pulling permit history and all kinds of things, all right, we are giving buyers information they need to make an educated decision. It's very hard to gloss over once we've run our work, all right? So the agent can counsel them effectively. A good agent knows that the deal today isn't what it's about.
Right.
the 5 deals are going to come from it.
Yes.
Done right by the client. Okay. So yeah, we're helping them close more deals because we create an objective scenario people can negotiate in. We're helping them close more deals because we're helping them just give more information. And the reviews that we see, not for us, but for our home inspection partners, when
Yep.
clients get this tool, they're raving. I mean, we've helped the Elite Group in California. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
So they're big. They're one of the biggest, I think the biggest independent home inspection firm in the nation. I think their business has gone insane since they started using us because they work with top agents that do high volume and they appreciate this. They really appreciate it.
Knowledge is power in these negotiation situations. It helps the buyers and sellers and the agents. Everybody wins when they know everything about the thing. Well, what's cool too is we're going to give some stuff away. Before we do, we're going to talk about this this really cool report that you guys did. I think it's good just to educate people because this was news to me, and I've been in the business like you for since 2004, so a long time. And this was I mean, it's a very cool report. But guys, we're going to give away the National Home Inspector report. We're going to drop that in the comments right now. So if you wanted to get more information about Christian and his company RepairPricer, they're also giving away kind of a really cool, one-time gig. So we're giving like a half cost report, which is awesome. So if you want to kind of test out Christian's app on a difficult deal, let's give him the Pepsi challenge. Right? Yeah, let's give him the Pepsi. But anyways, it's right there in the comments. Talk to us about the report because there was really, I mean, it got picked up by all of the major industry groups. You guys commissioned a 1 million report study. Talk to us. It was
a 50,000 report study.
Okay.
$1 million in repairs. And like we kind of talked about earlier, it was a bit of an accident. We were trying to do some data analysis to refine the pricing engine because of the scale we're operating at now. So we continue to improve. You have to. And we just started pulling really interesting data out, right? Things that were slightly concerning, smoke detectors.
Yep.
Lack thereof. Even with the building codes that changed and the resale codes that changed in most states, it seems like these issues aren't being addressed. Okay.
Right.
This is cheap. This is easy. Some fire station houses will give away smoke detectors for free because they know how impactful putting one in is, carbon monoxide. And then the other one that this study really concerned me as a homeowner and a home builder, I think it was over 50% of the homes we surveyed had issues with caulking and sealing on the exterior of the home. Okay.
Right.
But that leads to water penetration. You may not notice that for years. All right. But that is something that's going to wood rot, mold, okay, right. Insulation degradation, all of these things that can have a huge cost in the short term. But a tube of silicone sealant at a Home Depot is $289, I think. Right? Everyone's got a ladder and get a caulking gun and get up there and fix it. But so we feel like because no one had been able to do this before,
right?
It's really important to put the information out there and educate the consumers and say, look, these are very simple, cheap fixes that you can put in place that's going to keep you safe, keep your family safe, keep the value in your home. So let's just get it out there and let's let our industry publications tell people about it.
Right.
And what we can do with data, we haven't even started exploring that yet. It's going to be really interesting as we grow.
Right.
I want to do 500,000 reports this year. That's our goal. We're on task to do it. We'll see. My team is watching this and they're going to kill me.
Hey, what's the difference between a good report and a bad report? Since, I mean, I don't think there's anybody in our industry who has access to so many reports in one spot with all the data analytics that you guys do. How as a realtor, I'm out there, how do I choose a good inspection partner?
Yeah. So one thing that drives me crazy, all right, is, and it's a customer service issue for us. Legally, when a home inspector goes to a house, if he finds an issue with one window, he can stop inspecting the other windows. identified a window deficiency. Okay, and that isn't the case in the majority of states.
Wow.
So when you see a report and under that section, it's only mentioning one defect, but you can clearly see from pictures that there are 12 windows. So what happens? We price a report out, okay? Because we can only legally go by what the inspector has noted as a defect. We put one window in. The customer has to come back to us and say, hey, guys, there's 18 windows that are defective. Okay, cool. Yep, look at the pictures. All right, we'll put that in for you. So that's one thing.
Okay.
Secondly, lots of pictures. Does the inspector have more pictures than they put in the report? That's something very easy to find out. Me as an agent, I used to go during the last 30 minutes of the inspection, do a walk around, and I would look at the pictures. Okay, let me see these pictures. All right. Secondly, when you talk about the Victorian home, do you have experience with some homes of this style? Okay, could I see a report you've done? Ask a client. Legally, again, the report belongs to the inspector and the buyer. Okay, so could I see a report you've done on a similar style home? Older homes are a challenge for some people. And the reason they're a challenge, which brings me to another point, how much technology do they use? An FLIR camera, which can see behind walls, detect leaks, heat loss, it's $500 for a nice one. Okay, that's 1.5 inspections, maybe. Okay, a drone, like a DJI Phantom, maybe $1,100 for one with a nice gimbal and that kind of stuff. So do you have these tools? Because if you don't, you aren't doing as much as you could. The minute an inspector without a drone or minimal, like a camera stick, sees with a tile roof, oh, I can't inspect that. You know how much tile costs per square foot on a roof? You need to know what it is up there, okay? Because tile roofs have a huge probability of being cracked, allowing for moisture penetration, but you can't walk around on them.
Right.
You will destroy the tiles more likely. So a lot of inspectors say, I can't look at a tile roof. And there's just so many things like that. Like if they're not embracing the technology and they're not keeping up to date, that's not the inspector you want to use. Okay. And this is great. We had this here in Austin. I have permission of the agent to share this too. So we were doing an inspection and the guy's using an FLIR, he wasn't using an FLIR camera. He was just using normal cameras. Everything seems fine. Well, after the homeowner moves in, they find this kind of damp patch on the ceiling. And so they call a plumber over and a carpenter and they come and they take it down, okay? And on this leaky pipe that's still leaking was a tag from a plumber, an honest plumber, who'd said, inspected on this date, not fixed. Okay, the homeowner knew about the leak. They decided not to remedy it. Okay, just assumed they're going to walk away from the deal. Well, they ended up paying for it. I'll tell you that much. They did not disclose that defect, but we could have avoided all of that if that inspector had had an infrared camera.
That's amazing.
So yeah, that's why I recommend. It's like, look at the pictures, look at past reports. Okay, look at the reports and kind of examine how they've done it, and then ask them about the technology.
I love it. All right, man. Well, this has been amazing. Guys, if you want to check them out, again, in the notes, you can jump on that. We get their it's called the National Home Inspector Study, which is amazing. And then Christian's giving away basically a half-price report. Anybody who wants to test it out, to any of our folks. Christian, how would you close this conversation? Like, what's the most important thing that people?
Yeah, I would say test us. Put us to the test. Honestly. Once you start using our tools and you understand how much of an impact it can have and how much of your life you're going to get back, okay, you're going to get your evenings back. You're going to get maybe a whole day back. You're going to do better by your client, help everyone make an educated decision. So just test us out. Just a quick, I like data.
Yeah.
90% of agents who use us again within 90 days.
Okay.
Okay. We think the other 10% maybe aren't selling houses. I don't know, but.
All right, man. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Check out RepairPricer, and thanks everybody for joining us on this Facebook Live.
Thank you, Daniel.